Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Mxiety coming at you from the YouTubes this time. Why am I on YouTube? Well, it turns out quite a few people have been asking me, how do you talk about mental health? How do you bring it up? What should I not talk about? People who are starting their channels and really want to make sure that they allow open and honest conversation are worried that they're going to say the wrong thing or they're going to do something that's going to turn people off. And honestly, that's just the case no matter what you're doing. If you're going to start out on Twitch or on YouTube, you're putting yourself out there, and that's scary. So that's the number one thing that you got to remember. However, when it comes to mental health, there's definitely do's and don'ts. Overall, there's no one fits all kind of advice that I can offer you, but I can tell you what's worked and what definitely hasn't worked for me in the past year. Number one, definitely talk about your experience. How has it been for you being you and dealing with mental health issues? Have you found that people have been super receptive to you? Talk about that. Have you found that for a few years you denied yourself even having mental health issues? Talk about that. I love telling the story about how I took asthma medications for years because I didn't want to admit that I have anxiety. And that usually makes quite a few people feel at ease and a little bit better about the idea that they're denying themselves their own mental health issues. You don't know what story you're going to share that's relevant to you, that's going to resonate with a bunch of people. So definitely talk about your experience. You are incredible. It's true what they say, you're a specialist in your experience. There's nobody else that could have went through what you went through exactly and had the same exact outcome. So if you're gonna talk about anything, that's the perfect thing to talk about. So that's number one. If you're here and trying to break down stigma, it's gonna be really important for you to share your story. And to share it in a way that's not necessarily whiny, that's not necessarily, wow, this happened to me and it sucks and it's so sad. Because we definitely all have those experiences. Talk about what you've learned, and that'll definitely also help break down the stigma. If we come out and we start talking about the fact that I had these mental health issues and it's so unfair because people treated me unfairly, it's definitely important to discuss that. But if you're going to come at it from a perspective of you're looking for pity, it's not going to make anybody look good, and it's definitely not going to make the community look good. But if you come out of it from a resilience point and that you're trying to do your best and here's what you've done, you got to be realistic, but definitely emphasize resilience. Next, definitely work on finding a way to support people going through a hard time. There's tons of training out there. There's resources on takethis.org. There are resources on No Stigmas. That's actually, you can take a whole free class there. You could try mental health first aid. All of those are great pathways to learn about how to talk to people when they're experiencing tough times. And if you can do a little bit of research and you get yourself a little bit prepared, it's a lot easier to support others. Also, another thing that's super important, be sure to prepare commands in your channel that let people know where they need to go if something's going wrong. Have an emergency command. Hey, are you feeling suicidal? Here's the number for the hotline. Have a command for, hey, do you need to just talk to somebody? Check out 7 Cups. By the way, all these websites that I'm mentioning, they're at Mxiety.com. So if you go and check out Mxiety.com, you'll see additional resources there. Check that out, and that's everything I'm referencing is on there. So if you're confused and you're not sure really what websites to start with, that's a resource, and I'm totally plugging myself because that's all I've been doing is collecting them. Another thing that you have to make sure, especially if you're going to be working on helping people and you know that you're going to be accepting people into your channel who are going through a hard time, make sure your mods are prepared. You're going to be going through some tough situations. So sometimes somebody might come in and say something that's really jarring, like I want to kill myself, or I hate all of you, or just something that's going to take you back and you're not necessarily going to know how to react. Sometimes people come in with humor, like, haha, kill yourself, and they think it's funny, and it's not funny, and it's not actual humor, but everybody has a weird way of bumping in to mental health. It's not talked about, it's still stigmatized. So if you put mental health in your title, you're definitely be prepared, and by extension that means your mods need to be prepared for the kind of stuff that you're going to have to deal with. How do you prepare your mods? That's a great question. Once again, ask them to take the same classes that you're taking. Offer them resources that you have learned about. Don't just go into this blind. Definitely do a little bit of research because these are people's emotions and people's well-being that you're talking about. That being said, don't just completely back up and say, I can't talk about anything because I don't know about anything and I'm not a professional. Once again, I'm gonna reemphasize, this is your experience and you are a professional in your experience. So although you can't say, oh, how does that make you feel, and really help somebody kind of get out and get through and then never be depressed again. By the way, professionals can't even do that, so that's totally fine. So although you can't do something like that, you can definitely say, hey, I went through something like that, or push it back to your chat and say, hey guys, has anybody went through something like that? Do you guys have any recommendations? Basically never turning anybody away that deserves the help, but having mods and having tools there that make sure that you can discern when somebody's just being a troll and using to their advantage your emotional openness, and then when somebody actually does need help. And the two are going to be interconnected. So that's something that you're literally just going to learn as you go. There's nothing really that I could say that would prepare you for that immediately. Take breaks. Hold on, let me repeat that. Take breaks. Listen, talking about mental health is not easy. It's draining. There's a lot of people that are going to come to you and they're going to expect you to know the solutions and answers to things. And if that doesn't sound exhausting, I want to tell you that it is. And as much as you want to save everybody and help everybody, you can't do that unless you yourself feel great. The advice that you're going to give is just going to be subpar if you yourself are exhausted or feeling like nobody is helping you. The converse of that is, don't be afraid to ask others for help. Whether it's your moderators that you're leaning on, that you have close friends, if you need help to get through the things that you have to listen to, talk about it. Find a therapist maybe. Again, go back to 7 Cups, BetterHelp. There's plenty of apps and resources out there that can help you help other people and be most effective. There's something called sympathy fatigue, and even professionals deal with that. Yeah, by the way, try to say sympathy fatigue like 3 times fast. So the idea is you are a sympathetic person and you want to help everybody, but just hearing over and over again, you know, tough times that people are going through in their lives is going to wear on you. That means you have to be able to put your foot down and A, know where your line is. So figure out where your line is, and B, know when it's time for you to take a day for yourself or even a week. Again, you're not effective as an ally, as a mental health advocate, unless you make yourself most effective. And the way you're most effective is that you're not tired, you're not drained, and you're not feeling burnt out. All right, guys, so that's it. Those are my first tips. If you like them, please subscribe to the channel so that I know I can make more of these. If this video gets over 100 likes, I will make a video on what not to do as a mental health advocate. I think that both are just as important, but I wanted to make sure that this one is a lot more encouraging, and if I never make another video, that this stands out as a, here's how to talk to people about this stuff on Twitch. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, or contact me through my website. I'd be more than happy to respond to them. You guys, my motto is be the light. If you guys don't know what that is, it's this idea that when you're not feeling well, go out there and be that example for others. Go out there and be the light that others need. Go out there and show people what it means to be sympathetic and just as awesome as you are. So that being said, subscribe, comment, do the thing, 100 likes and I'll make another video, and don't forget to be the light.